Hello viewers! Do you have a service stability track message popping up on the dashboard of your Chevy and don't know what's that all about? Well, truth be told, modern cars are littered with all sorts of warnings and notices that often confuse drivers instead of informing them. Even more, it gets worse when you consider that different manufacturers have different names for what is basically the same thing. And as you might guess, Chevy's stability track fits this description just perfectly. What it means, why it pops up, and most importantly, how to get rid of it, that's what we're going to find out right now. Let's go! Let's start by explaining what Stabilitrak is in the first place. Well, in essence, this is GM's name for their patented safety system that prevents wheels from locking up, spinning, or losing traction when driving in slippery conditions, such as for instance in snow or on wet roads. Or to put it simply, this is just a fancy name for something that is more commonly known as electronic stability control. While there might be some minor differences, the working principle behind the Stabilitrak is more or less the same as in the systems used by other car makers. Basically what happens is that the Stabilitrak's computer monitors how fast each of the wheels is spinning using wheel speed sensors. If you press the throttle too hard and the wheels start slipping, the computer reduces engine power to regain traction. Similarly, if you press the brake too hard and the wheels lock up, it eases off the pressure on the brakes, allowing them to get some grip once again. And lastly, if you get into the corner too fast and your car starts sliding, it'll apply the brake to just one or maybe two wheels, and by doing so, get the car back on track. All this works seamlessly, with you as a driver almost not noticing any of these interventions. That is though until something takes the Stabilitrak out of action, which is when you'll have the aforementioned warning message on the dashboard. Without this safety net to keep your back, you're more in danger of having a crash and should drive more carefully. And of course, you should have the issue fixed without a delay, which means finding out what's causing it first. As the Stabilitrak runs through the ABS, traction control and steering systems, any issues with them will throw it offline. So with that in mind, service Stabilitrak message could be caused by things like a defective ABS sensor or a broken steering angle sensor. A similar will happen if the throttle position sensor is not working correctly or there is any kind of a problem with the throttle, as this means the car's computers won't know how much you are pressing the throttle. Also, the car will want to know when you actually press the brake, which is why the brake pedal switch needs to work perfectly. In addition, something like a bad wheel bearing could be causing the issue, as it will offset the readings from the ABS sensor. And lastly, the computer itself, called the body control module, might be faulty, though this is not that common. Apart from the Stabilitrak system itself, any issues with the car or the engine might trigger the said warning message. This includes misfires due to bad spark plugs or a worn pump, issues with the active fuel management system, or in some cases even using the E85 fuel might be to blame. The most common cause of Stabilitrak issues is a bad wheel speed sensor, which can usually happen as a result of mechanical damage or corrosion. Still, you should avoid guessing or jumping to conclusions. Instead, connect a scanner capable of accessing the body control module and check what codes are stored in the vehicle's diagnostic memory. This will help you narrow down the problem and determine what needs to be fixed. Another thing you should check is the technical service bulletins, as there are several of these where GM address Stabilitrak issues on specific models, such as Chevrolet Volt or Buick Envision. Here you'll find all the details and procedures on how to tackle the problem, which will save you both time and money. If the service Stabilitrak warning light is on the dashboard, you should keep in mind that there is something wrong with the system. There could be a computer failure or software malfunctioning turning it off. But before you try to reset the warning light, you want to run a full diagnostic of the system to find the fault. Warning lights are meant to alert you to the danger. Once the diagnostics are completed and you know how to resolve the problem, you are ready to reset the warning light. And here are some general guidelines on how to reset the service Stabilitrak message. Check the Stabilitrak button. If it has been pushed in manually, the light will remain on. Consider the weather systems and road conditions. If there is a reason for the system to be disabled automatically, that could be why the warning light is on. Rotate the steering wheel clockwise. If the light turns off, there's probably nothing wrong with the Stabilitrak system. If the light remains on, continue with the following steps. Shut down the vehicle and walk away and do something else for about 15 minutes. This time gives the system a chance to reset. Restart the vehicle. If the message is gone, you don't need to service the vehicle. Otherwise, it's time for a complete diagnostics. If the service Stabilitrak light persists, there could be several faults within the system. It could be caused by a defective input sensor or a malfunctioning controller. It's also possible that there is simply a bad connection in the system that needs to be re-established. The cost of repairing the service Stabilitrak warning light on your Chevy really depends on what's causing it. In many cases, this will be down to a faulty wheel speed sensor, which on its own is not very expensive. Access to it, though, can sometimes be tricky, and they may also seize in their bore in the hub, which makes removal a bit more difficult and time-consuming. Also, if the steering wheel angle sensor needs to be replaced, you'll have to recalibrate the system afterward, which usually calls for a more elaborate diagnostic device. On average, you might spend anywhere between $200 and $500 to repair a service Stabilitrak warning on your Chevy, depending on what's causing the fault. If you aren't sure how to proceed, get the car diagnosed by a mechanic who understands the GM technology. If you've chosen to turn the Stabilitrak off, there is nothing wrong with the system and you are free to drive as needed. Just be aware that having the system disabled also means there will be no traction control, meaning that you could notice the tires spinning and skidding in slippery situations. Drive accordingly to prevent any accidents. However, if Stabilitrak is turned off because of a fault, you need to have it looked at as soon as possible. Only after the trouble codes are diagnosed should you determine if driving would be safe. In some conditions, you can wait to get the repair as long as you are comfortable driving around without traction control. With that said, some of the causes are going to lead to other problems. If the reason for Stabilitrak not working is also causing other concerns, it's best to have it fixed as soon as possible. So there you have it, viewers. That's how you deal with the dreaded Stabilitrak warning in your Chevy. As you might have seen, this is not a difficult job as long as you know what to do. I hope this video was helpful, and if so, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. But if not, and this warning still keeps popping up, you might have a more severe issue on your hands. So to continue troubleshooting, check out other videos here or visit our site mechanicbase.com for more detailed repair guides. Bye!